Today, Rinpoche began the section on the perfection of wisdom and showed us how wisdom is like the eye that allows us to see all of the things that are mistaken, allows us to uproot our ignorance that grasps at things as being truly established, which is the source of our cyclic existence. Santangi parshin la lapa la nga datayin ngay the Congo Inji Lapsang Sash Khensur Hakoludu Sash Lapsash.
Oh yeah. Tanga to Lamrim what the Jebi Shongo Lang Ding Lang Jebi Chimbi Lang what the Shong the Lamrim what the Marba Jebi Shongo Lang that John the Magajun shooting. Then Laba Song Jebi Ding Lang. Then Shaju said the Shiru Jebi Chibi Lang. What the name of it?
Okay, so once again, we're on page 209 in the English, and we've reached the chapter 14, the perfections of meditative stabilization and wisdom. So when we look at the divisions of Buddhism, or if we were to somehow summarize Buddhism, we would do so by way of the teachings for beings of three capacities. First of all, the teachings for beings of small capacity, or teachings shared in common with beings of small capacity, or those teachings that lead to the higher realms of cyclic existence, gods, demigods, and humans. And one engages in the practice of the ethics, which abandons the 10 non-virtuous activities, as well as engaging in refuge in the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The second division of practice would be the teachings shared in common with beings of medium capacity or middling capacity. And those are for beings who wish to achieve their own nirvana, their own liberation. And those are teachings, include the practices of the three highest higher trainings. The highest higher training in ethics, concentration, and wisdom. And then finally, the final division is the teachings for beings of great capacity, and those are for beings who wish. Those teachings are for beings who wish to achieve complete Buddhahood, and Buddhahood is achieved by practicing the mind that aspires to enlightenment and uniting that with the six perfections. Digsong Rinpoche.
Oh yeah, that's how you do the same thing. And the Shindu law, the Shindu Nanda. Jimba Chutin Zuba Sundu what the country that's something to Marba something to Lidura Sunday Passion de la Sunday Passion de la Jew Parudishim Badan, Jibi Parudishim Banije Sunday Jew Parudishim Badan Tolan and Gulambaji Sunday Jew Parudishim Bas.
Okay, Kali. Going in a tearing a dead doing the Kali la Jew and then Nye Yapo Lago Jew Barishimba
Bolambado Jew Paradishimba Jew Paradishimba Yende Sanji Gomu to be Jew in Beja Jew was Pashinje Tandri Paradishimba to Sanji to Jew Chamber Bomba to Zimbabwe.
Then the Langa Kanga Jew Barishimba
Langa Jid
Melulang Ale
Melulang the Jebi Paradishimba
Debu Ale. Then Tambo Je Jew Barishimba the Tamanga Ngapa Debu Barishimba. Okay, two chena. So when we divide the perfection we divide perfection, we can divide it into causal perfection and resultant perfection. There's something weird going on here. So causal perfection are all of those practices which cause the result of perfection. So when we look at the various pathways, when we divide the paths by 5. We have the path of accumulation, the path of preparation, the path of seeing, the path of meditation, and the path of no more learning. So those first 4 pathways are considered the causal perfection. Because, why are they causal perfection? They are because they cause perfection to occur. So therefore, they are considered causal perfections. And then resultant perfections, and specifically the perfections that are being practiced on those pathways. So just to make sure I'm saying this clearly, I'm not saying the paths of accumulation preparation are being named causal. I'm saying the perfections being practiced on those pathways are causal perfections. So just to clarify what I mean there. So they are causal paths also, but when we're speaking here, we're speaking of causal perfection and resultant perfection. So it's those perfections practiced on those first four pathways: path of accumulation, path of preparation, path of seeing, and path of meditation, which are causal perfections. And the resultant perfection is the perfection that the Buddha has, and that occurs at the path of no more learning. So the first four are causal, the final fifth is resultant. Digsong Rinpoche.
다 파신이나 제비 파신 차우스 주 바로의 신바다 랑지 파신 도서 그걸 파신 많이 셔로 바로의 신이면 예시든 대신시 용라달라 더다인스 용시진도 랑시진 도서 파신게 다시 되어 버려 파신 말이스 파신이나 제비 파신 차우스
So the Lungka garne.
그 파신 버섯진 뇌
Then Lung Yanje the Dunda?
셔로 바로 신이면 셔로 바로 신바들라 니요 말이스 제비 파신 지불했어 셔로 파신이나 제비 파신 비차
Okay, Selbuldu.
주 바로 신바들 랑 파신 도서 그걸로 파신이 메다 버마도 파신원에 마이스
Okay. I just have to figure out how to, I know what it means. So when we look at the word perfection, so if it is perfection, it is necessarily resultant perfection. Causal perfection, pathways, and so forth, those are just nominally designated as perfections. They aren't actual perfections because if we look at the perfection of wisdom, for instance, we divide it by, if we say by two, causal perfection of wisdom and resultant perfection of wisdom. It really is only the resultant perfection of wisdom that's perfection. So when we say the perfections, we ultimately must be referring to those resultant perfections. The causal perfections are just named as perfection, but they aren't perfection because they haven't been perfected yet. So they're just named as such, but the perfection itself is necessarily a resultant perfection. The perfection of wisdom is necessarily a resultant perfection. There aren't these two perfections occurring. There's just one perfection. That's what is perfect, and that is a perfect wisdom, and a perfect wisdom is necessarily a resultant perfect wisdom, a resultant perfection. And any perfection is necessarily resultant perfection, for it to be really a perfection and not just named like that. Digsong Rinpoche.
다 중시 쇼스는 제네두송다 싫어니부터 말বে 제네두 싫어니부터 중시신이스 중시신이 주선 가르스나 시신주의시비 송로 인베스 시신주의시비 송로 인자 중시신이스
The Yanjer Surinang Rinpoche?
제네두송다 하수저도서 그걸로
Less so.
네 중시신이스 중시신인데 시신주의시비 송로 인베스 시신주의시비 송로 인자는 중시신이 명다버스
Gongel me pichi Rinpoche. The Shera Nimpo.
싫어니부터 시신이스 시신인데
Sheshin Sena? Sheshin?
시신 상지 도주지 나체다 도서로 어두가 싫어니부 땡고로
Less so.
땡고여서 싫어니부터 어때 용시신이스 제대도송다 싫어니부터 용시신인데 시신주의시 송로 인베스
So I don't know if I can do this exactly correct. It's something that the Heart Sutra itself is considered a perfection sutra because it is spoken, it is perfect words spoken by a perfect being, something to that effect. The Heart Sutra is a perfection sutra because it is perfect words spoken from a perfect being. We could check that on the tape later when there's someone more qualified than I. But that's Rinpoche gave a quote from the Parshin teachings and just said to just try to explain it as best I could. Tuche.
Tijen tolan golan baji lang jebu de jue lang shin yite ne sanji gomu to be ne sanji gomu to be lang toji ju pa de shin be yeje sanji gomu to ju lang yeje what thing but tolan golan to sanji gomu to be juro.
So when we, okay, I see. So why do we say that the first four pathways, I'm saying it backwards, but it means the same. The first four pathways are causal perfections because the practices of the perfections on those pathways cause the resultant perfection to occur. So therefore they are called causal perfections. So the perfections that are practiced on those pathways become causes for the actual resultant perfection. Okay, Digsong Rinpoche. So among the 6 perfections, we've arrived at the 5th, concentration.
Ta sante passion la nga sante jngo te gomba la jubi ta sante ji ra ye
Yewa.
jubi se jeta shawa
Lesso.
ta da ga do sa ji nga do
Lesso.
ta sante jngo jo so na me ba le jen do me wa ne be sense ji bi ga de chansa le Shanju Shambi dene tueba tang samba ngodo nru Shanju Shamba naje jiden tang jiden le debi tjibi ne goa sen neba sheneji shusan latungi shusan sondo nru dewala jobi lan te nyegi shu kanyinba te dene ane shanchu senpa naji sante ji ngonye do riba shawos she dans shantan shunju le jans teta tunju jene ne yine dingan de la ja jeso what the da kante sante sina ta ngazu sentembe de aji do sentembe de aji what the sentembe de what the sante do de no lu de da sentembe chaji sentembe de mebala ziji ne what the dingan ji to so na ko tembe charo sentembe danda ngasul do jujan do sentembe chean do what the tembe de ya che to ri ba ina sante shene zire no marba what the shene se what the rijil se mebala na lan ji gong yin na kar gong yin na mebal ha jibul me ba de jen le me wa ne be sense ji ba se ji bi gwa ji la santen se gres santen yin bi jusen kar se na ane papa to me chansa le son dos chansa le chanju se be de ne ma do te ba dan chanju se be de ne ma do te ba dan samba ngwan don ri chanju samba na ji jiden dan jiden le de be sen ji bi gwa sen ne bas jiden bi santen dan jiden de bi santen se na jolan me che ki santen de le ane jiden bi santen tonlan ye che ki santen de le jiden de bi santen what the nature of that
That's
jiden deba jiden paba da soju marba
Less
soju
so.
lama tuba soju yundo dos panama tubi kan soju jures
Less
soju
so.
juje sanden de jiden bi sanden
Less so.
pabi juje sanden de jiden de bi sanden o tene bare
Less
kono
so.
kono mulula de tuno de sanden jiden de bi sanden
Less so. Dixon.
yeah.
What? So page 2. I have to read on this. So now, how to train in the perfection of meditative stabilization. The explanation of how to train in the perfection of meditative stabilization has 5 parts. What meditative stabilization is, how to begin the cultivation of meditative stabilization, the divisions of meditative stabilization, how to practice, and then in summary. First, what meditative stabilization is. Meditative stabilization is a virtuous, one-pointed state of mind that stays fixed on its object of meditation without distraction to other things. The Bodhisattva level says, it is the one-pointed state of mind stabilized on virtue and either mundane or super-mundane of bodhisattvas who have first studied and reflected on the bodhisattva scriptural collections, whether it is oriented toward meditative serenity, toward insight, or toward both as the path that conjoins them. Understand this one-pointed state of mind is the bodhisattva's meditative stabilization. And engaging in the bodhisattva deeds also says, having thus generated joyous perseverance, set your mind in meditative concentration. All right, so they're using meditative stabilization for concentration. I believe they're synonymous in their case here. When we look at this word stabilization, or to be stable, or to concentrate, it's setting one's mind in a stable way that is not movable from one thing to another. So it's setting the mind in a very structured, stable way so that there isn't any distraction from outside objects. So it's a stabilizing of the mind, and that's why it's being translated as meditative stabilization, because it's literally, when Rinpoche explained it, it's a stabilization of the mind, making the mind stable so that it can focus on one virtuous thing. Here, the Bodhisattva level says, it is the one-pointed state of mind, stabilized on virtue, and either mundane or super-mundane. So it's saying here that the concentrations, or meditative stabilization, I'm just got to get used to that word, meditative stabilization can be mundane or super-mundane. Mundane can also be translated as worldly, and super-mundane is out-of-worldly or otherworldly. So the word that is used here can be translated in both ways. So if it is mundane, and it is a concentration that is mundane, it means that it falls under the category of a concentration that is taking place on the path of preparation or below. So in terms of the 5 paths, so from the path of preparation and below that, any of those meditative stabilizations are necessarily mundane or worldly meditative stabilizations. Any meditative stabilizations that take place from the path of seeing and beyond become super mundane meditative stabilizations. They become superior Arya meditative stabilizations. So here, this is the differentiation being made between mundane and super mundane. Mundane meaning ordinary being. Ordinary being is one who has not reached the path of seeing yet, a being who is from the path of preparation or on the path of preparation or below, and then a superior is one who is transcended the mundane, and that means that he or she has seen emptiness directly. So that is a superior being who is either on the path of seeing or above. Even all the way up to the Buddha. The Buddha's meditative stabilization would be super mundane meditative stabilization. So anything that occurs from the path of seeing and up. The jikten dan jikten like the dunda lapsong. Dene?
That I know what the something the Jill maybe Nandaga maybe Dingens Dam Johnsona and the Dingens the sale on Jures. Dingens the sale on Jures. Tananga soon the shot on Kondo down. The moon sell on you to world. Dingens the Dam.
Want you, Sena Rinpoche? Go get me. Want you?
Sell on Jures
On is it Beche?
Something sell on you, Jabba the Jana, women re on Bajin. Donna gave me
Okay,
Listen, less or the Chenrezig. And I do then the other one. Something got to
Neil Dudin low.
Something sell on you, Jabba this.
That's so. Tu Chena Rinpoche. So Rinpoche was using a word, and he then quoted the Lamrim Duden, the abbreviated stages of the path, to explain it. So I'm just going to read it, and then I'm sure I'll find it. So he said to read this quote. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is on the section under meditative concentration. Meditative concentration is the king wielding power over the mind. If you fix it, okay, fixing, that's the word. Fix it on one point, it remains there immovable like a mighty Mount Meru. If you project it, it can permeate any virtuous object. It leads to the great exhilarating bliss of having your body and mind be applicable to any virtuous task. Knowing this, the yogis of mental control have devoted themselves continuously to single-minded concentration, which overcomes the enemies of mental wandering and dullness. I, the yogi, have practiced just that. If you would also seek liberation, please cultivate yourself in the same way. So now we currently fixate, we could use that word also, or fix our mind on attachment and aversion and ignorance. So here, this is fixing the mind on an object that is virtuous. So it's transforming something that we already do into something useful. So, okay, the Lamrim Duden Losong, then the Tsik Neshing Yu, they want you, then want you, then the Tanda, the Rinpoche, the dead states Yanjer Lama. Less so. So then Tanda Ngatsu Ducha Dan Kontro the Yanjer Surinang. The Yanjer Surinang. Less so. So now our mind is fixated on the three poisons, fixated on attachment, fixated on hatred, fixated on delusion or ignorance. And this meditative concentration moves that mind and fixes that mind to something else, and that something else is virtuous. So it's, and then fixing it and then making it immovable. So here it says, meditative concentration is the king wielding power over the mind. If you fix it on one point, it remains there immovable like a mighty Mount Meru. If you project it, it can permeate any virtuous object at will. It leads to the great exhilarating bliss of having your body and mind be applicable to any virtuous task. So here it's also saying that when we achieve this meditative stabilization, it creates this pliancy of the mind and of the body, and also a state of happiness or bliss of the mind and the body. So these are points that are made in the Lamrim Duden, and then we look at the Bodhisattva levels where it says it is the one-pointed state of mind stabilized on virtue, either mundane or super-mundane, of Bodhisattvas who have first studied and reflected on the Bodhisattva scriptural collections, whether it is oriented toward meditative serenity, toward insight, or toward both as the path that conjoins them, understand that this one-pointed state of mind is the Bodhisattva's meditative stabilization. Engaging in the Bodhisattva deeds also says, having thus generated joyous perseverance, set your mind in meditative concentration. Ge shansa dang shunju dang dudin lung kangal losong. Tsar.
어제 다 띵해지스나 신의 신이 쇼스나 시장 처바진 신비고네
Less so.
라유로 매매 한도 주 띵해지데
Less so.
신의 신이 시장 처바진 신비고네 라유로 매매 한도 주 띵해지데 신의 신이 되스 신의 신이 상태에서 신의도 오더로다
Samten dan shine the
지바로
okay. Then the Lamrim Chenmo gets seni you charan loso.
신의 신이도 바시도 돌려요 라이도 주나 요래 신의 처바진 신비고네 라유로 매매 한도 주 띵해지스 신의 처바진 르신자도 산신자스 인도와 르신자도 베제 레자 인서 레자 띵은지도 고네 간장 세토블
I
레온도
know where that is.
로브기 지 롱사바지 레온
Less so.
어들 레온도 르를 지부
Less so.
르를 지부 여들라 안 산 지부 거서
So what happens is that I know where this is now. When one achieves this meditative stabilization, a mental and physical pliancy takes place, and it takes place because there's a new wind that is entering in to your body. So this new wind creates a bliss, and then this bliss is of the mind and the body. This bliss that occurs. Okay, that's Gurumche. Neither the Santen Guragian. Santen. Oh, I know where it is. It's not there. It's in this. Special abiding. There it is. Okay. Special insight. Ditsko. Niragian. The Siniyure. The Parshin Shitun. Siniyure. Okay. A stabilization arisen. Okay, so when we define calm abiding, so calm abiding is a single-pointed concentration. And the Rinpoche, the Shine, Tingenzi, Samten, Dunchik.
지바로
Okay, so we can say that all of these words are one meaning or synonymous meaning.
띵은지도 되지 있으나 띵은지는 신의 처음 말어 띵은지 가서 줄여 요들어 어듯이 띵은지는 신의 처음 말어
So if it is single-pointed concentration, it is not necessarily calm abiding. The shine yine samten chop.
신의는 띵은지는 신의 맞아
Then a samten yine
산대이나
tingenzi and be chop.
차서고
Samten yine the shine and be chop.
산대이나 신의 쳐
Shine yine samten and be chop.
신의이나 산대이미 쳐
Okay, touche. So we were looking at what pervades what. So when we look at all these different words, and the problem is some translators use the words we're going to use for the other words. So we're going to just be very specific right now for a second. So that if it is meditative stabilization that we're talking about, the fifth perfection, if it is that, then it is necessarily single-pointed concentration, and it is necessarily calm abiding. If it is calm abiding, it is necessarily meditative stabilization. If it is single-pointed concentration, it is not necessarily calm abiding. So we have one that doesn't pervade in there. So single-pointed concentration doesn't always mean calm abiding. Dene the tingenze yimba shine mayimba show
띵은지나 신의 마임바
show.
가서 줄여 되는 신의 마투 가서 줄 띵은지 요러
So he's saying that there are beings that like ourselves that do not have calm abiding, have single-pointed concentration on certain things. Like we can have single-pointed. I guess that where you're not thinking or distracted, you're focused on one thing, but not have calm abiding. So your mind cannot be distracted to out. I'm thinking it through right now as I'm translating it. So that's why. So that's an example. A being who hasn't achieved calm abiding or who hasn't achieved meditative stabilization, who has single-pointed concentration, is an example of a single-pointed concentration that is not a calm abiding. So the way it would sound is you would have three musum. You would have three permutations. If it's a single-pointed concentration, it's not necessarily a calm abiding. Show a single-pointed concentration in a being who continuum who hasn't achieved calm abiding. If it's a calm abiding, it's a single-pointed concentration necessarily, because it is something which is both the calm abiding, the focus on a Buddha, that someone who has calm abiding has while in single-pointed concentration. So that would be both single-pointed concentration and calm abiding, and something which is neither would be a rabbit with horns. So nga de musum kandre lapsum.
Okay.
Then it's any. So the definition again is of calm abiding is a stabilization arisen from meditation and conjoined with special pliancy. And then etymologically we look at the shine, calm abiding. The ne means to abide, the mind staying, and the shi means calm. So shin ne, calm abiding. Nge the shi dondagare, ne dondagare.
Okay.
Sa Rinpoche. Go.
Yeah.
The Jeffrey Hopkins in trouble. Ropa. I was saying Jeffrey Hopkins is our friend. Me like in joke. Friend also. He's Rinpoche's friend. I've met him, but it's not. He wouldn't say he's my friend. I wouldn't think. I'd like him to be my friend if you're listening. Okay. Rinpoche, chirang kabiyar and gonga mepachi. Page. Oh my God, this hurts so bad. The page. Juja, Shunju, Shedang. Shedang, Shunju Le, Tuchina, gonga mepachi. I see. Less so. Okay, gonga mepachi. So then, and engaging in the bodhisattva deeds also says, having thus generated joyous perseverance, set your mind in meditative concentration. So without having this joyous perseverance, it's not possible to generate the meditative concentration. So here it's saying that in order to get to generate the collections that are necessary in order to achieve this next step of meditative concentration, it's necessary to have joyous perseverance. The Rinpoche Garshene did Zundru Gu. The Garshene Samten Zundru Yungu. Garshene.
Zundru Maji na de la Lagwana Karjana Kali Maja na Yumarota. Kali Jevsalu Zundru Logamarbe.
So I said to Rinpoche, why? What's the reason you need to have this? And he said that when you take, for instance, Rinpoche mentioned before, a focal object, for instance, a deity, to engage that focal object as much as it is necessary to engage it in order to achieve meditative stabilization requires one to have this joyous perseverance, because you would just give up. You wouldn't want to do it any longer. Rinpoche said that it requires an enormous commitment, an enormous amount of effort in order to achieve this concentration. And without the effort, the concentration can't be achieved. So that's why it relies on it. And you would, if you're not joyously persevering, you wouldn't want to do it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Geshe Rinpoche.
다 니바는 산대 공부 편다 마공부 예미 선바데 신내지 거 셔봐 주로서 어디 산대 공부 편다 마공부 예미 들어가로
Leso, Gemma.
니바데 저 공부 터도 말봐 신내 올로 마시네 거
Leso.
마 책이 예송래
Leso.
셔봐 주로서 신내지 거 셔봐 주로
Leso.
다 요와 다 산대 요와도 말봐
Rapje.
산텔라 에나 가지고서는 이와라 한시바 따라 무구네 신나스 무구네 신나 지네 바던 지네 데비 지네 비산테던 지네 데비 산테니 지네 비산테서나 ane julame chig sante들 지네 비산테
Leso.
지네 비산테 이들 수수주주지 산테 임베서
Leso.
통랑에 chig 산테 지네 데비 산테 인데
Leso.
파비주지 산테 임베서
Leso.
어떤이서
Okay. Okay, so now number 2, or B, how to begin the cultivation of meditative stabilization. Think over the benefits of cultivating meditative stabilization and the faults of not cultivating it. I will explain this in the meditative section, serenity section. So later on in the text, when we get to that, it will be explained. Okay. So number 3, the divisions of meditative stabilization. In the line with the above citation from the Bodhisattva levels, if you subdivide meditative stabilization according to nature, there are 2 kinds, mundane and supermundane. So again, that is referring to any meditative stabilizations that occur from the on the path of preparation or below are necessarily mundane meditative stabilizations or worldly meditative stabilizations. Why are they mundane or worldly meditative stabilizations? They are because they are meditative stabilizations occurring in the continuum of an ordinary being. And then the next are supermundane. Supermundane meditative stabilizations are those which occur on the path of seeing or above. So those are superiors that are having these meditative stabilizations, or Aryas having the meditative stabilizations. So why are they called supermundane meditative stabilizations? They are called that because they occur within the continuums of superior, not ordinary beings. So that's how you divide by 2, those who are superiors and not superiors. And why are they mundane? Because they occur in ordinary beings. Why are they supermundane? Because they don't occur in ordinary beings, only in superior beings. Geshe Rinpoche.
That something like in a graduation, Holiness, Hashibatara, Gune, something like Gune Shina, Jidin Bisante, the Jidin Dibisante, Yin
Losar.
Shujugune, Son Yujan, Shujugune, Son Suju Sarawa,
Shujiguna, Son,
Shelejugune Shina, and Tsendela, Lucilla Deva never she be Santanche. Tsendela Lucilla Deva never she be Santanche, and Santan to Tsendel Sel Jibu.
Leso.
Deva never Santan dance, you think about to be Santan. And the Santan Tosuna Tamalia, Tolanjuno, Tamalan to Tugurota. But you think about to be Santan. Session is dance. Session is Juji de Nandula Jantene, the competent letter.
Leso.
Session is she be Santan no Sonre Dua. She let you go to Shena. She let you go to Shena. Sendela Lucilla Dua Nebichane, and Lucilla Dua Nebisante, you don't about to be Sante, you then Tamatama Tuji Sante. Sage Mesha, Juji Marba, what the Nandula, what the Jazare. Tenshebe Santen no son re do son. Shele ju gona son. Tela tombo de do shele ju le saint doit ne besoin d'être tela tombo ne. Quand la nyaba janas, le dans saint shin du jamba jebe Santen nan sos. Quand la saint naba jana lan jirmi la me ne Santen gomba ina ta quand Santen me bale chewe ma Santen gonga kurun de bare. Nanju ba dundu che baros. Nanju ba kurun karol me ne gonga ina digres. Hal me ne gona digre. Tunil me ne gona digre. Danjil me kar gona digre da.
The Tambo, Rinpoche?
Quand la nyaba jabe jana le dans saint shin du jamba jebe Santen nan sos ta song nan tam de bare. Shele ju gona shina son re do song nan tam de do. Le saint doit ne besoin d'être. Le saint doit ne besoin d'être chose là. Tam ne quand la nyaba janas la gomba ina de kare nyaba jana le dans saint ne shin du jamba jebe Santen nan sos what le dans le seigneur de saint seigneur jebe Santen tout le de kaza song nan tam de ta tombo.
Okay. That's cool.
Shele chena sendela le saint doit ne besoin d'être. Sendela le saint doit ne besoin d'être chose na tela tombo ne. Quand la nyaba jana le dans saint shindo jamba jebe Santen nan so de song nan tam de
Okay.
Quand la nyaba jana le dans saint shindo jamba jebe Santen do de song nan tam de
Okay. All right. The divisions of meditative stabilization. In this line with the above citation from the Bodhisattva levels, if you subdivide meditative stabilization according to nature, there are two kinds, mundane and supermundane. If you do so according to orientation, there are three kinds. And then Rinpoche explained this, oriented toward serenity, toward insight, and toward both conjoined. If you subdivide it according to function, there are three types. Meditative stabilization that stabilizes the body and mind in bliss within the present life, meditative stabilization that achieves good qualities, and meditative stabilization that carries out the welfare of living beings. The first, the Rinpoche, Semchengi Dun Jepi Samten the Juchi? Okay, Tuche Nge Jason. So when we look at this third, the meditative stabilization that carries out the welfare of living beings, we went over the 11 ways to carry out the welfare of living beings, something to that effect, the 11 kinds or 11 ways. We find it in Liberation in the Palm of Your Hand by Pabunka Rinpoche. So in a previous class on a tape, we have those 11 listed. I forget the exact title, but it's related to carrying out the welfare of living beings. So the first, meditative stabilization that stabilizes the body and mind in bliss within the present life, is all meditative stabilizations that generate mental and physical pliancy when you enter them with equipoise. So this is the first. So going up to the, it says there are three. If you if we're divided according to function, so this is the first. If we're dividing it according to function, so the function, the first meditative stabilization, and that stabilizes the body and mind in bliss within the present life. And that connects to the first, meditative stabilization that stabilizes the body and mind in bliss within the present life, is all meditative stabilizations that generate mental and physical pliancy when you enter them with equipoise. Then the second, Shintu Jamba, Sem Shintu Jamba.
Le saint doit never see Santen Tambuche, Niba Tangoba Dubi, Santen. Niba ne, Monshi dans Nanta dans Sebatan, Senu su Nietu dan Tumo Mayi Bi Yuen Drubi Santen Nang Sos Da Yuen Ngoba Drubi Santen Gane Jagurusina and then Nguen Shi Dan Nanta Dan Nguen Shi Dan Nanta Dan Seba Dan Senu su Nietu dan Tumo Mayi Bi Ne Shangchu Sembe Lama Biyoro Drubi the Santen Jila Lagres Santen Nang Sos what the Ngoba Drubi Santen Tenji Jagures.
Then the Nyantu Tumo Mayemba Gare? Rinpoche Gare Sumpre?
Yuen Ngoba Drubi Santen Taten Malekdo Niba Ne
Lesso.
Niba Yuen Ngoba Druba Derwa.
Lesso.
Niba Yuen Ngoba Drubi Yuen Santen Gane Jagurusina Nguen Shi Dan Yuen Ngoba Gar Drugurusina Shene Tusuna Nguen Shi Drutugres. Shene Tusuna and Yana Gogi and Nguen Shi Tuguro. Then Tabatoya, now Teradan, Seba dan Senu, what the new intent to raise.
Ale, Nyantu dan Tumo Yunten Kanga?
What the Tuka, Shanju Sembi Yunten, Nietu dan Tumo Mayibares. Nietu dan Tumo Mayibi, Yunten Drubi, Santen Nang Sos. Ta Shanju Sembi, Santen to Zero.
Nipa, that's Tamo.
Yunten Ngoba Drubi Santen. Shene Tusuna, Ngashi Drutugre, Nata Drutugre, Seba Drutugre, Sene Drutugres. What to look on Nietu dan Tumo Mayibares.
Ale, Nyantu dan Tumo. Tumo Yimba.
Nietu dan Tumo Mayimba.
Tumo Yimba.
Tumo the Madura.
Tumo. The Nyantu dan Tumo Yimba.
Nietu dan
Tumo Yunten.
Tumo Mayimba.
Chiram Ngebech the Nyantu dan Tumo Yunten. Tumo Yunten.
Niba ne Ngashi dan Nata dan Seba dan
Lesso.
Sene su Nietu dan Ale Tumo Yu.
Yeah, lesso.
Nietu dan Tumo Yu.
Tumo.
Nietu dan Tumo Yu Des. Ngoba Drubi Santen Nang Sos.
Lesso.
Ta Shanju Sambi Yu Ngashi dan Nata dan tu Seba de Sene su Jibu Jin dan Jibu Chungu dan Tumo Yu la jireba. Jin dan Tumo Yu la jireba.
Ale.
What the
Tuche. Ale. Then Ranjel Yomari. Nyantu Kuna?
Raje Jiba.
Nyantu dan Ranjel the Yunten Chipa?
Dabure.
Ale. Tuchena Rinpoche. So the second is meditative stabilization that achieves good qualities is all meditative stabilizations which accomplish good qualities shared with Shravakas, the super knowledges, liberations, totalities, masteries, etc. So those meditative stabilizations that are shared with the teachings shared in common with beings of small capacity and the teachings shared in common with beings of medium capacity. Because the Shravakas teachings, or hearers, translated into English, fall categorically on under the teachings shared in common with beings of medium capacity. So that infers that the teachings shared in common with beings of small capacity are also included, because the medium capacity relies on the small capacity. So those are also included. So all of those excellent qualities that are accomplished, that are shared with the hearers, so those excellent qualities that have occurred from the small and medium scope and up, are, so now rereading it, the second meditative stabilization that achieves good qualities is all meditative stabilization which accomplish good qualities shared with Shravakas. So the reason it says shared is that the Bodhisattvas share many insights with the hearers, because when we look at that word in common, that's why we say that this in common with beings of small, in common with beings of medium. So here's the case where it says those excellent qualities that are in common with the medium, specifically hearer, are the category that we're talking about that have been achieved by a meditative stabilization. So that's that second level of meditative stabilization. Digsung Rinpoche.
다 손바는 세진지 전셔 주지기 전나 루비 상대 노사 손바도데 안에 세진지 전셔 이 상대 들어와 네 세진지 전셔 주지기 난루 라정도 친사래 손바는 전셔 주지기 전나 루비 상대 들어와데 세진지 전시 상대노 제다 샤와는 세진지 나 간에 시그르스나 제다 샤와네 쟁한지 그와 전도가시 루나 쟁한지 그와 근데 전도가시 루나 담바 주년다 담바 주년도 주바다 파신 주년도 주년도 주바데 랑산된라 네네 yin tala ngwa ne santen ji yinba yin la santen ji yinba yin la de ma du ba na ma she ba dar she ba sha os wo de ta song ba wa de se jin duan xiao ju ji duan xiao ju ji se jin duan xiao yi santen de gan de si xia wu le se na jie de xiao wa ne jing yan de ge wa jin zhao wa xi zhu na 담바 주된 당 담바 주된 주바 당 담바 주된 파신 주된 저와 주바들라 세진 돈셔 돈시 상된 라그레스 주바데 저간에 자고르스나 랑 상된라 네네 예 들랑고바네 상된 지진바 일라스 소 상된라 네 아니 예레 상된 시바이나 아니 상된 지진바레스 상된 지진바
De jipa ale. Okay.
Tama na ta santen ji jimba santen ji chutin santen ji zoba ran chutin la ne jen chutin la go ba de ane santen ji chutin ran zoba la ne jen zoba la go ba de santen ji zoba wa den dabu ja in serwa
Leso.
Ne yin dala goba de santen jimba je tema duba na ma sheba na sheba shawosa ra santen la ne yin chutin long goba chutin ji santen ji chutin santen ji zoba santen ji zondu santen shera wa den ja wu song de
Leso. Seldu. Okay, so the third meditative stabilization that carries out the welfare of living beings is meditative stabilization that accomplishes the 11 activities for others' welfare. So there it is, the 11 activities for others' welfare. Again, we find that in Pabunka Rinpoche's Liberation in the Palm of Your Hand, and also on the cassette listed, but it was taken from that teaching. Now, number 4, how to practice. Whenever you practice any meditative stabilization, you do so in association with the 6 supremacies and all 6 perfections. The generosity of meditative stabilization is maintaining meditative stabilization yourself and then establishing others in it. Understand the other perfections from the earlier explanations. So you do so in union, you do this meditative stabilization practice in union with the other perfections as well. So you would have the ethics of meditative stabilization. So first you have the generosity of meditative stabilization, then you have the ethics of meditative stabilization, the patience of meditative stabilization, and the joyous perseverance of meditative stabilization, and then the meditative stabilization of meditative stabilization, and the meditative stabilization of the perfection of wisdom. So then we have these 6 perfections and supremacies, meaning the supreme, the actual perfected state of these 6 unite. So anyway, you find this union of meditative stabilization in all 6 perfections, not just the 5th. Digsung Rinpoche.
ane jibalu goba de jibi pashin jundu pashin
Lhasa.
jibi pashin jundu saden pashin waten dabuja
Leso.
ya
Dundua.
La.
Dundua
Ta
leso.
tan duwa.
Leso.
Shebi ten senje jesu tenshin gomba ne senje tangje samenje sante langobi shedo gomba la kuije yimbe te tembar pe ne sante gomba na jan henbi yudo shene zhongwa tang sante ngombar sante zubar chi manu na tu so sen zijibi dingen zela chenu su lobi tundu modungwa la be gote tata maji na laja dang ge yu nyemi jundu gobaran jowa dang tsara jen do na shanchu senpa na je dingen je go doma lan jobi laja la lobi che shindu kawan jo la tata shena ne sende yang sen jen do yin yu chichung do ndu yu gwa saba nam to che shin shema yang la zang ki shuba le songpa tar le sen dewa dang yi dewa dang denbe dingen zin pashin zuba layu shirwa sa zuba layu shirwa datin ma de song de duwa tun duwa ne shubi den senji tangji ge don sanju gu bon toba shawo nya be senji duwa de shubi den le shubi den shanju sen de yoba ina ane shinru tu ya bu shinru nya le je ge na ane wo de shanju sen de shubi den le shubi den senji jesu tenshins gomba nes adanga sanji jesu tu shona la shanju ba dan jesu dag jesu jibun rola pe sanji ruba shu o de senji tu santa ke jebu do ta
Leso.
senji ta je ge du sanji gu to ja wo nya senji gomba ina meji ge kangi shimi dang dang nya be ane sanji shiga du sanji du chuban bi ba le ane senji ta je ge du sanji gu to ba ja wo nya shanju sen gong ge ina dele ha ge res kangi
Shunju.
shimi dang ye je sanji shin na me gang ge ren shen ta gun gang de ji den gon la pe wa ye gang ge tham ja je de shanju du ne san du na chuban de cheba
That's
ta
not what it's.
chebra pa tala tan ma ji so lang de
Landun.
강기 시민이 다다냐 비 산지도 쇼바 비와 레들레 생전 다지고 좀 산지고 뭐 도바 샤오냐 사제 공기나 편 자체 그래서
Leso. Dene? The Dixon?
어디 산지시나 메가 그러잖다 그거 이제 그걸 배워 강기 탐으셔야지 샤초도는 산도는 초반도는 제바바 달라 타는 마치서 강기 시민이 다다냐 비 산지도 초반 비와 레 생전 다지고 좀 산지고 뭐 도바 샤오냐 산지 공기나 편한테 책을해서
Leso. Rasa. Ale. Okay. So number 6 is Dundua, a summary. The recollection and cultivation of the spirit of enlightenment, the basis of the bodhisattva deeds. Let me read to where Rinpoche read to, and then he started to give commentary. Basis of the bodhisattva deeds is what inspires you to train in order to set all living beings in uncontaminated meditative stabilization. After you have increased the stability of the spirit, aspire to the high meditative stabilizations and train in these. Even if you are unable to fully develop the meditative stabilizations, you must strive If you are unable to fully develop the meditative stabilizations, you must strive to train from time to time in one pointed concentration to whatever extent you are able. For if you do not do so, you will be continually stained with the fault of breaking the precepts in other lives as well. You will find it most difficult to learn the trainings for entering the many doors of the Bodhisattva's meditative stabilizations. Whereas if you never give up your effort, even in this life, your mind will become steadily less distracted, making your accumulations of virtue very powerful. So, going back to the top, the recollection and cultivation of the spirit of enlightenment, the basis of the bodhisattva deeds. So here it's showing that the mind that aspires to enlightenment is the basis of all of the bodhisattva's effort. So it's showing the importance of it. So we have our refuge prayer here at the center, which has the bodhicitta prayer within it as well. It says, I take refuge until I'm enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the merit I create by practicing giving and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. So that may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings is the basis of all of the 6 perfections. So it's very important that we really rely and focus on this idea of becoming a Buddha for the sake of others in order for us to achieve that goal. It says then in Atisha's Lamp for the Path to Enlightenment, when they talk about the greatness, Atisha talks about the greatness of the mind that aspires to enlightenment, and he quotes the sutra requested by Viradatta, and says, if it possessed physical form, the merit of the altruistic intention would completely fill the whole of space and exceed even that. If someone were to fill with jewels as many Buddha fields as there are grains of sand in the Ganges to offer to the protectors of the world, this would be surpassed by the gift of folding one's hands and inclining one's mind to enlightenment, for such is limitless, or vast. So we can see the power of this mind that aspires to enlightenment presented by Lord Atisha, but then we see the significance here where it states that it's the basis of all of the bodhisattva deeds, and without achieving bodhisattva deeds one can't achieve Buddhahood. So one needs, once again, it shows the significance and the importance of bodhicitta in order to achieve a goal, any of the goals along the pathway. Digsung Rinpoche. So if we can practice well this life, then we will easily be able to practice in future lives. But if we don't, then we'll have real difficulty in future lives being able to achieve these stabilizations. Digsung.
Gawa Sabana Touchin, Santan de Abujuna, and the Gawa Shibaka Touching Shimaya, La Zang Shuba, the Sumbatara, Jawa Shimalaya Abuyungures, Sumbatara, Lucien Duata, Yiduata, Dambe, Santan Jipashin, Zuba Hayusha Rosa, Sandil Santan Yana Abujigina, and Seshimala de Yungures, Joan Hashimesana, the Sun Joan Hashiba Tendikunda. Jumping Joa Shama Mesloro. Joa Shama Mesna, what the Joa Shama Yuba there, the Zuka to Tendikundua. Passion Zuba Hayusha. The Shin to Jeba, Chenrezig goes to Cheba and Ju, the Matis, something to a Jeja with the Sheneka doing what is, and then Dudijima to some mess from it. Goes to Cheba and Ju, the Matruso
Sar, Ale, Matruso, the Kangalo Sar. Deshin to Jepar Shine. Okay. So pointing out the need for practicing in this life, it says, even if you are unable to fully develop the meditative stabilizations, you must strive to train from time to time in one point of concentration to whatever extent you are able. For if you do not do so, you will be continually stained with the fault of breaking the precepts, and in other lives as well, you will find it most difficult to learn the trainings for entering the many doors of the Bodhisattva's meditative stabilization. So here it shows the downfalls of not connecting, and the benefits of connecting would be its opposite, Whereas if you never give up your effort, even in this life, your mind will become steadily less distracted, making your accumulations of virtue more powerful, very powerful. In future lives, as the Questions of Sabahu Sutra says, you will have physical and mental bliss and a joyful mind, thereby easily completing the perfection of meditative stabilization. I will not elaborate further here, as I will be explaining this at length in the meditative serenity section. Okay. Don't do what sash. Sheraji bar shin la lapa la nga.
다 sheraji pashin lapa la nga je ngo. Sheraji ngo je te jeba la jubi ta. Sheraji radu yawa jubi zi jita shawa te da ki tuan duwas sajin dabu duwa. Ta tomba sheraji ngo ne tomba ne shera ne tabi ngabo la chu nabar jebe jeba sheba la shelas sheros ta ngazo ji ngazo neju kanga ji shede aji lo ta sheros what yula jeba shebe shele jin sanju jela sheros go jela shero deba me ba deba da tinga yunga nga no mar ba yunga deba me ba tinga ze shero yunga nga no no what shero de do shero 하는 아주 지 따지지는 지 제바시는 제바시다지도 제바 단지라 싫어서도 말아 싫어 싫어는 답이 뭐보 줄나버 제바시바 실례진 산주실라 싫어서 그래서 제바시바 일라스 건데네 리비네가라 케발라 수비시로데스 리비네가라 케비시로 투레스 리비네가라 케비시로 리비네가드 가라
리빙행아
리비네가드레 안데리바 참마리바 소아리바 나너리바
매
Not
be chew.
Seek.
Medicine.
The
The lung yure Rinpoche. Then the nga. The lung yongere. The yongere Rinpoche. The sheja tamche la jupa dang sheja tamche la shupa chirap du nampar jepa ganyan. Ripi nengao. Nangi ripa dang, denzi ki ripa dang, sua ripa dang, dra ripa dang, zu dang le gi ne. The younger.
Oh yeah. Ta shansa le sheja tangji la juba dang, sheba tangji la juba, chura do naban jeba kanyi batene. ne rebi ne ngabo nagi riba dans rebi ne ngado jos na don riba tambuji ta nambi chugo de shediat marba
Nangi riba.
Namdo riba je
Denzi
riba sana samana de marba samana.
That's good. Ne the nitrigian.
Yeah.
Okay, tambo the nampi chu.
Namdo riba je namdo riba na to de Tijino Timega Lanya Zula, non-derivas of Marba.
Lesser. Then a nipa?
Tensi ribas danga to the town Daganayadro. Samariba. Town that Tanagi, Geshe Lharampa, Tensi ribas of Marba. Tensi riba. Then you would never madu 10 days in Bezer. Don't you do it down the euro? Mataba do it down the euro. What to Sula? Tensi riba so marba, tensi riba. Suwa riba tam her mersen. Suwa riba dada tulu. Suwa riba dans. Ta da riba dans.
Gaka gang. The guy.
Ta sansa gadi na to si.
Lesser.
Da riba danga so. Peki to da riba kon document. Sanskrit na peki ni depend abu are ta.
Lesser.
Da riba. 다 조아리바 나사조야 시당조야
Less
컴바조야 어디서
technical.
조아리바
The Kamba Dang.
사조야
Lazu?
사조야
Oh. Shetang Dang.
시당조
Ale. Okay. Meaning the Jor.
오케이
Okay. All right. So now we're on number 6 rather. I'm sorry. How to train in the perfection of wisdom. There are 5 parts. That's why I was stuck on 5. How to train the perfection of wisdom has 5 parts. What wisdom is, or how you define wisdom, how to begin the generation of wisdom, the divisions of wisdom, how to practice, and then a summary. Rinpoche says it's the same if you look back at the way that we explained the last topic. So what wisdom is. In general, wisdom is what thoroughly discerns the ontological status of the object under analysis. But in this context, wisdom refers to proficiency in the 5 topics of knowledge and the like. The Bodhisattva level says, know that the Bodhisattva's wisdom is the thorough analysis of phenomena that engages or has engaged all of what is to be known, and that operates through focusing on the 5 topics of knowledge: Buddhist knowledge, grammar, logic, technical arts, and medicine. So here, the 5 topics of knowledge, if we break them down, Rinpoche did it in this order. So the first is referring to the Buddhist teachings. Buddhist knowledge, the knowledge of the Hinayana, the knowledge of the Mahayana, and so forth. The next, we have logic. I'll just do it in the order the book did. Grammar. That refers to the various grammars within Sanskrit and Pali and so forth. So that's what you would learn. And Rinpoche said now they would learn Tibetan grammar as well. So that would be something that would be in addition to then. And then logic refers to the study of valid cognition, the study of correct signs and reasoning, pramana, etc. So that's what the study of logic refers to. And then the study of technical arts refers to building houses and learning how to make tankas, learning how to construct statues and so forth. So that would be technical arts. And medicine would be the doctors, what doctors would learn, the various medicines and so forth. So those are the 5 wisdoms that are mentioned here. And it says that, but in this context, wisdom refers to the proficiency in the 5 topics of knowledge and the like. So the Bodhisattva, it is said, has to, by the time he or she is a Buddha, know all phenomena. And these are the 5 topics. Diksung Rinpoche.
다 싫어들은 주비 싫어도 주비 싫어 니레스 다 주비 싫어 좋으나 싫어 네 주비 싫어네 사마도 공기 인라스 요나메 시기 네 싫어들은 주비 싫어라 그래스 주비 싫어도 좋아서 사투네레스 통란에 시기 싫어들라 주비 싫어 사투네 이노
The Rinpoche, Gongya Mepachik, the Sherab, the Nipa, Shupi Sherab, the Tonlam. Oh, okay. Tonlang, Golang, Melo, Kanga. Okay. Okay, Tuche. So now here the wisdom that engages refers to wisdom prior to attaining the Bodhisattva levels. Wisdom that has engaged refers to wisdom after attaining such levels. So here this is referring to the prior to attaining is before the path of seeing. So the path of preparation or below, translator's note, the first Bodhisattva level or ground is at the path of seeing. That being said, the first category is referring to those on the path of preparation or below. And then the second category of wisdom, has engaged, refers to wisdom after achieving the path of seeing or above. So that he or she is on the grounds, the levels. They sometimes translate grounds as levels, so I don't, let me see here, 450. Rinpoche, the Sherab Ni?
Jubi Sherab, Jubi Sherab Ni.
Okay.
Jubi Sherab, Jubi Tonglan Yen, Jubi Sherab.
Okay.
Shuba Nisatune, you know.
Okay, Dixon. Lapsar, Kangalas.
That's fine. Sherab Jibi Todd Marba. Niba Sherab Jibi Todd, Niba Ne, Sherab Jibi Pendan, Ne Majibi Nemi, Samba Yin Las, Sherab Jibi Pendan, Majibi Nemi Santan Ures, Sherab Jibi Pendan Garasana, and the Sacha Casa Kalkala Jimmy Samadota. Sherab Manager Mandota, Sheba Jansa Kalaji Casa Kalmandota, Sherab Manager Madro, Sherab Yuna Pension, and then Lotta Mamudo. What to see in some arbe?
The Sherab Mena Lapta Dro Tugamare?
Sherab Mena,
Gari.
Lotta Mena, and Sherab the Abin.
Oh, okay. The Jew Jepo. The Laptra Mena Sherab
Casa Gal, what the Lotta you are, Gumba you are, what the Sherab the Ajino Marbe.
Okay. Tuchen is school.
Sherab Jib Pensions, Sherab the Ebaina, and the Pension waters, and then Sherab the Ebaina, Jordan, you think a shade over.
Great. So we can see that next we'll get into the benefits and the downfalls, the benefits of having wisdom, downfalls of not having wisdom. And we can see that the wisdom is required and needed. If just by looking around, you see there's many schools, there's many learning places of learning, places to learn various religions around. So we can see that there is some sort of benefit clearly from gaining wisdom because there are so many places to do so that are around. So there must be a benefit of gaining wisdom because of the many schools and so forth that we see around. Because without schools, without institutions, without Buddhist temples and so forth, there's no way to acquire that wisdom, that knowledge. So the fact that there are these, that means that there are people acquiring that knowledge for some reason. So there must be benefit. Dixon. So you even see, I can see myself that every day the students at Wesleyan, very almost putting in a lot of effort and going every day to class, and they're in the pursuit of wisdom. Why are they going every day to class? They're going every day to class to acquire wisdom.
What the Susan is that Shirojibi Majibi Yemi, Samba Yin Las, Tian, Chitawa da maybe Shiro Yemeji, Pendan, Yemine, Latung Gone, Chibarju, the Madrula, Hamajunzi, Juba Shawusa. Tian, Chitawa da maybe. Kanza Dam, Chuji Dames, Kanza Dam, Chuji Damesina, Kanza Demo Marubala, Kanza Dames, and the Kanza Miami Chu Demo Marubala, Chuji Dame, Chuji Dames, Kanza Dam, Chuji Dame to be shadowed Yubaina, and the parents of this, and the shadowed men and Yemi you are this, you are this, Parent on Yemi, ne. Latungi go ne Chiba Jews and the Shiro Yuna Pen men and Yemi to do Latungo Yungores, Chiba Jew, the Madrillas and this Jibus Womas, Lama Jones Juba Show, and Lama Jones Song is Toma, Pen and Balas, and then Shiro Lunoji and a Pen Carriosana, Pen and Bala, the Shimi. Then Taji Zawa Sheba Shawos, Ne Shiro de Pen Carriosana, Sendetan, Sashimag, then Taji Zawa is Sawa.
Lessa. That's going the inji kezu.
le ya
Gangisena lodru long yongere.
Yeah.
That's okay. So now we have part 2 or number 2 in the divisions. How to begin the generation of wisdom. The way to begin the generation of wisdom is to contemplate the benefits of generating wisdom and the faults of not generating it. So here, as explained before, there are many benefits. As we can see, there are many places to get wisdom. So it says that since I will explain the benefits and faults of having or lacking the wisdom of reality, selflessness in the insight section, I will not elaborate on it here, but I will discuss the remaining types of wisdom a little. So in the future sections, Lama Tsongkhapa will go over, in the wisdom section, in the insight section, we'll go over the benefits and downfalls, the benefits of having the wisdom of reality, or knowing the nature of reality, that wisdom, and the downfalls of not knowing that nature of reality. These are two, when we divide selflessness, we can divide it into 2 categories, selflessness of person and selflessness of phenomena. Selflessness of person refers to the selflessness of the I, and so forth. The being, the selflessness of the being, the selflessness of the person. If we look at, just a translator's note, the definition of person is being imputed on any among the 5 aggregates. So the selflessness of that is selflessness of person. Selflessness of phenomena refers to the selflessness of anything that isn't person. Isn't that person, a being imputed on any among the 5 aggregates. So anything other than that is selflessness of phenomena. So these are the 2 types of selflessness that are going to be explained later, and the wisdom of these 2 types of selflessness, the benefit of having that wisdom, and the downfall of not having that wisdom. Then Rinpoche read to here. With respect to indicating wisdom's benefits, wisdom is the root of all good qualities for this and in future lives. Dene, not lo drulong, nge lo masong, lo masong.
ta shiro de min da bore shiro shindu gna shiro de min da buje ane jimba la so ba tu min lo da bore shiro de ba ina de ta je ane jimba la so ba tu ngalo saji ngol ya ju tu res 제달 노이 쪽에 들라도 매대 접지긴 되바이 유도 쳐봐 진도 양로 매년 달라 제니로스
두론
제달 노이 쪽 오마지 보마르바 제달 노이 쪽에 들라도 밀와 뭐 여바이나 아니 매여 괜지 고저 치네 로바 제달 치도 그러 버드나지 싫어되게 네 싫어라 네네 네 제발아서봐 바신 하마도 좀 걸로 사지 사용 야 사지공을 주투그레스
Kap Drupa? Semche Drupa?
대다 갈릴라 제달 노이 되거든 제달 노이 조금 들라도 매대 집지긴 되봐 유도 쳐봐 민와 뭐뭐 여바이나 미 여바 괜지고 로마젠달 치투그로 그러나지 싫어도 메다버스 싫어가 밀라데네 파진 하마 제데 사지 살야 사지 고본 야 주투그레스 제달 노이 조금 들라도 매대 집지긴 되봐 유도 쳐봐 대진대 안르 매년 여달랑 제니로스 싫어라데네 파진 하마 집부터 사지 살야 주투그레스
Beso. Okay. So that it's showing in the, I'm not going to be able to find it probably, I might. When we look at the Chandrakirti's entrance to the middle way, the commentary on the Nagarjuna's text, we see that it talks about, compares wisdom to being able to see. So it's something to the effect that those who can't those who can't see have difficulty getting to certain places, something to this effect. But with the wisdom eye, you can travel to anywhere, to even Buddhahood. double face. Hold on 1 second. This might be it. Sense as truth to all objects to be seen. Polluted vision has it set a double face. I thought that I had. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Okay, Rasang. The Semche Drupa. A single man endowed with eyes can lead unseeing multitudes with ease to wherever they wish to go. And so it is with wisdom here. It takes the sightless virtues guiding them to victory. One who has grasped profound and ultimate reality through the force of reasoning and by the light of Scripture was the noble Nagarjuna, and following his tradition, as this still exists, I will proceed to speak. So here it's saying that a single man endowed with eyes can lead unseeing multitudes with ease wherever they wish to go. And so it is with wisdom here. So it's saying that one person can lead, who can see, if there are others who can't. He could lead them wherever they want to go. Like if there were a bunch of blind people, one person with eyesight could lead them where they want to go. Likewise, the power of this person with eyesight, it's compared to wisdom that can lead one to Buddhahood. This wisdom is able to be this guide that takes one. It says, and so it is with wisdom here. It takes the sightless virtues, guiding them to victory. So it's comparing us, those who are practitioners who are not Buddhas yet, to those blind followers of the person who can see, enabling them to get to where they want to go. We are like the blind followers of wisdom that wish to get to Buddhahood, and the wisdom enables us to get to where we want to go, to Buddhahood. So that's the meaning of the quote in the entrance to the middle way. Dene? Okay. Lesso. Lesso. Okay. And then we find also in the Lamrim Duden where Lama Tsongkhapa compares wisdom to an eye. Discriminating awareness and this is the wisdom, is the eye with which to behold profound voidness and the path by which to uproot ignorance, the source of cyclic existence, is the treasure of genius praised in all scriptural pronouncements and is renowned as the supreme lamp that eliminates the darkness of closed-mindedness. Knowing this, the wise who have wished liberation have advanced themselves along this path with every effort. I, the yogi, have practiced just that. If you would also seek liberation, please cultivate yourself in this same way. So here, Lama Tsongkhapa is comparing it to this eye as well. It allows you to see this profound voidness, to perceive emptiness and get rid of ignorance, which allows you to get rid of cyclic existence, because it says that ignorance is the source of cyclic existence. Khensur Rinpoche. Lesso.
Chenmo riba yin, teta tambo goba yi, shiro yung chen zungwa shas, shiro yung chen zungwa shas, riba yi, teta tambo gobi gune, shiro nyangla yabache gores, shiro yung chen zungwa shas. Yung, donye to be ane donye to be shanchu sembe lang to go yung se re yung 용서 아만 라고만 아만 잡으러 아만 잡어. 상주 선비 통랑 걸로 아만 잡으래스. 들라 때는 상지 도고로 와. 상지 도고여서 파말라 때는 보고 제자 아마스 라고로다. 통랑 걸로 뜻을 때는 상지 공부 도고여서 아만 잡으래스. 싫어요. 전 송화샤. shesosa.
Disang. Then nge le lodru lung, then chiran delpa, then ngatsu chuadan lenja. Dutsash. Okay. So now we have a quote in the text back on page 212 from Nagarjuna. It says, as the protector, Nagarjuna's 100 verses on wisdom says, wisdom is the root of all good qualities, seen and not seen. To achieve both of these, embrace wisdom. The great source of what you seek and for liberation is knowledge. So esteeming it from the start, adhere to wisdom, the great mother. So wisdom is being compared here to a mother. And pathways are at times compared to a mother. So the wisdom's achieved, for instance, in the path of accumulation, the path of preparation, the path of seeing, the path of meditation, the path of no more learning. It's compared to a mother because you're born into Buddhahood through these various practices. And each of these pathways allow you to be born into the next pathway, the next step towards the final birth of Buddhahood, which is Buddhahood in the case. It's saying that all excellent qualities have at the root wisdom. It says, wisdom is the root of all good qualities, seen and not yet seen. So to achieve both of these, so the excellent qualities that are seen and those, so now and in the future. So those are all find at their root, wisdom. So we're going to end here with that quote, and now we'll have a question period for a few questions, and that's it. Oh my gosh. Something digging in my head.
Okay, I just want to ask Rinpoche, if you could elaborate on the meaning of the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum.
Okay. Om Mani Padme Hum Donda Garare. Om Mani Padme Hum Donda Garare. Godandar.
Anar oma de le nga yisung.
Om Lunga Yisum. Mani.
Ma ne beming. Da kan de tot de shiro den de tot de shiro. Ma ne beming.
Mani. Tapdang Shera.
Chenrezig tujugish tot de shiro den waras.
Okay, then the Om Lunga Yisum.
Anar oma a naro oma le nga yisung.
Om Ahom. Mani. Om.
Mane.
Mani.
Mane peche Rinpoche yijiro Rinpoche.
Jewel. Peme.
Pema de kare.
Lotus. Pema.
Pema. What the name is it?
Hong. Hongare.
Oh man, Pema Hong, that can they might do such.
Ducha Gidere.
They thought Shiro, they might do Duba.
Ale. The condensed. Then the Tapdan Shera. The Mani. The Om. Longa Yisung. Mani Peme Hong Tapdang Shera.
Take thought the Shiro in Tango.
Then
Oman Pema said, Chenrezig Tujugi, thought the Shiro Tango.
less so. So there's Rinpoche said without a commentary, we can't give a complete explanation. But what he can say is that the Om is said within it that contained the purification of Om Ahom, the body, speech, and mind. And then Mani means jewel. Peme is sometimes flower or lotus, so the jewel in the lotus. And this is just referring to the union of method and wisdom, and Hung being a summary of all of that union. So Rinpoche said there's more to it than that. It literally just means the jewel within the lotus. But can mean more than that, but we need a commentary to expand upon it. But it's Chenrezig, the Buddha of Compassion's name mantra, name mantra, and its literal translation. Mantras don't usually literally translate to something that is meaningful per se. They're more of special sounds that are the name of Buddha, the name mantra of the Buddha, so they're connected in that way. But you can translate them literally, but they don't have like the kind of meaning you would think like, they just don't. Sometimes the Om, they say, is like the head. It's of great benefit if you can do the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra. And don't we have, it's in the old prayer book, right? The breakdown of Om Mani Padme Hum mantra? I think it is, like the oldest prayer book. I feel like let me see if I can find something for you, Coleman. Do you remember that, Stasha? No? Okay. I'm making that up, maybe. So the Sanjay Kanga, Drame Kanga, Chibabu Depule. So then Yunte Su, the Dumba? Kelsang 7. So it is said by the great master Kelsang Gyatso, the 7th Dalai Lama. Let's be very specific of who the Gyatso we're speaking of is. And he's considered an emanation of Chenrezig. And he's stated that doing one Chenrezig mantra has the same benefit in terms of result as making an offering to all of the countless Buddhas simultaneously. So the same benefit of doing one Om Mani Padme Hum as making an offering to all Buddhas. But there is a commentary in the text where we can get more meaning out of this mantra we can find in the future.
Adrian was here 2 weeks ago, and Rinpoche, he had sickness in the body, and at the end he said practice Tonglen.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard that before with somebody else, that Tonglen can heal. It's more like a healing of the body. Is it a healing of the body or also a healing of the mind? Tonglen?
Okay, it can. Rinpoche, the Tonglen Chiwa, Ngama the Adrian the Segadu Kong Dugnyo Mambo Yure, Son Supo Kanga Dugnyo, then Charan Tonglen Gom Yapuldu. Then Dan Sedu Ngama the Kon Anjer Gusun, the Mekashi Segadu, the Natsa Yuna, Tonglen Me Dan Drapuldu. The den la ronan Rinpoche Gangen Sena Arila me mambo tsampa tonlen me sa gugumare Gangen Sena tonlen gon. Then the den the tonlen me dandrar. Then tonlen ngatsu sukpo me ngatsu the sem me. Kongi chiwa. Lesso.
수수 거가 여가비 나봐 신장 단지를 보는 신장 집이 좀 좋냐베 샤바공야
Lesso.
최태원도 신장 동에가 왜 나비 나봐 수술 최태네 અને 신장 동에도 대송냐베 인지공야
Lesso.
어디마 돈을 놓으라 집에 줄이 샤다 니질 하베 송바 있어 어디 돈을 군에 샤바도 인지공도 말봐
Then Kongi Chiwa, the Lama Kashe, dan Lama Chiran, the Adrian Dugyal Yure, then Chiran Tonlengon, then Garishene Tonlengon, the Natsa Yuna, Garishene Tonlengon, the Dene Kongi Chiwa, Tonlen, Sem Pentogudu, Matsu Lo Pentogudu, Tonlen.
돈에 생을 보고 너는 셔마 틀어 몸을 배우는 거였을 샤바도 현재 공부이나 비소나 좀 말이야.
Lesso.
천들라야 보는 거래. 근데 서로 셔마를 해야 되네. 샤바도 현재 공부다. 근데 야 보는 거랬어.
Then the Natsa Danjawa Gare, the Gangesena.
나차는 요로가 나차를 해주나? 나차 요로가.
Lesso.
다 나차 다가지 데드발레. 근데 돈에 공부이나 오파단도 거가 가면나 봐 신경 단지를 보네 지부 종송냐 봐 샤바공
Lesso.
되네 왜 오체 태운도 왜 나비 동에 걸로 왜 나비 나봐 수수 동을 태송냐 봐 근데 신경 동한테 태송냐 봐 해주고야 편하죠 있었어.
So it's beneficial. I asked him in multiple different ways because I've heard it described in almost like a medicine before as well. But it is, when you do meditation on Tonglen, Tonglen is translated as giving and taking. So the meditation you do is that you imagine that sentient beings are in front of you in a state of suffering, and you imagine that you're giving them all of your root virtues in the form of a white light and taking on all of their suffering as you inhale in the form of a black light. And you're imagining that you've taken all of their individual sufferings away. So by doing this meditation, you're accumulating a vast amount of merit. You're accumulating a vast amount of virtue. So because of that, you are going to receive a virtuous result in this life and in future lives. But as for having it cure anything specifically, or I asked Rinpoche, why is this then stated to do? It's stated because it is a very powerful practice, and it's karma that causes illness. So you need to get rid of the non-virtuous karma in order to get rid of the illness that it caused. So according to Buddhism. So Buddhism's working on that karma. Now, it doesn't mean that it works in this life specifically. So Buddhism is working on a much grander scale of eons later as well as this life. So it isn't... Rinpoche is just saying that it's not like a cure in the sense that you do it and then it takes away your sickness and you don't need medicine. It's just a very powerful practice that allows you to create very powerful karma. And because you are taking on illnesses and suffering, it's very powerful and connects to the removal of your own. Does that make sense? Yes. It's concordant with illness. Because you're taking on their suffering, you're taking on their illness, it becomes concordant, and you're doing something virtuous because you're relieving theirs. So when you are exhaling and giving them all of the happiness and root virtues, you're meditating on love. And when you're inhaling and taking on all their suffering, you're meditating on compassion. So as a result of caring for others, then it's concordant that it would benefit you as well. That makes sense?
Yeah, it was kind of my second question, but I can see it's a meditation.
It's a meditation.
It's a form of meditation.
For certain. So it really transforms your mind, but all of your experiences are a result of what is your mind kind of has ready for you. You know what I mean? The pre-imprints.
Thank you.
Maybe one more. Yeah. So we find in the Lamrim, in the 7-point thought transformation by Geshe Chikawa, it says, Leilen Tanche. Banish the one to blame for everything. Meditate on the great kindness of all, I believe is what it says. And here, and that's in the 7-point thought transformation, and that's referring to giving and taking practice. And it's I think it says, place two astride on the breath. I'll find it, but go ahead with your question. I'll find it. Here
Okay.
it is.
When you were describing, when you were beginning to describe the perfection of wisdom, and you described the 5 topics of knowledge, like knowledge of Buddhism, grammar,
Yes.
medicine, it just seems to me that like I know that was it described that when you're training in wisdom, you start there, but it seemed like something big was missing there, like. There's teaching and there's the words of those 5 things, but they aren't necessarily virtuous in and of themselves. But then you went on to describe prajnaparamita and non-dual perspective, or the eye of wisdom. And then it was like, then it all kind of made sense. But when you said there were the 5 topics of knowledge, I was expecting to hear something that felt more like wisdom than knowledge of Buddhism, grammar. I mean, it seems like it's like the jewel and the lotus, like those 5 aspects maybe are one part, but not the whole part of wisdom.
Buddhist knowledge contains every amount of wisdom you're speaking of, though. Every amount of wisdom, omniscience, and any training or teaching that came is Buddhist knowledge. So that first topic covers everything that you're talking about. Practice, meditation, bodhicitta, all of that.
Right.
So,
but maybe it's just the word knowledge. Someone can read the words, but not necessarily understand the meaning of what is said. And so once you started talking about prajnaparamita, it made sense, but it was confusing just going through those 5 things and describing them as knowledge, that is where we start to understand wisdom. So I guess I'm just...
Wisdom is the opposite of ignorance. So being ignorant of something is not having the knowledge of it. A bodhisattva has to have knowledge of all things that exist, all areas of things that there are knowledge of, so he or she isn't ignorant in any area of knowledge. So all this is saying is, these are the 5 areas of knowledge that one as a bodhisattva would need to get. Now, wisdom doesn't just come from hearing, and wisdom has 3 levels. Wisdom from hearing, wisdom from analysis, and wisdom arisen from meditation, which is a direct perception of these things. So there are various levels of wisdom. So these are just topics of knowledge that are needed so you aren't ignorant of them, which is the opposite of wisdom. And when it gets the next part where it starts to talk about selflessness, it's talking about a kind of wisdom, specifically the wisdom of reality, which is the kind of wisdom that we're talking about when we're talking about selflessness and so forth. And it says that we're not going to get into it now because the special insight section will deal with that. But that wisdom of reality would fall under Buddhist knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, these are just 5 topics, 5 things of knowledge in the world. You can know about grammar, logic, the technical arts, medicine, and Buddhist knowledge. So it's saying this is pretty much everything you can know, and these are all the subjects that a bodhisattva would need to know. If someone's sick, he needs to help with medicine. They need a house, he needs to know how to build it. If they love art, he needs to know how to make a piece of art. They need a statue, he or she needs to know how to build a statue. If, they need to be taught Buddhism. Right? So if you look at grammar, if they need to be taught any way to speak and write, it's just covering all sentient beings' needs, basically. So all of these knowledges are all things that you would need to know in order to help every single sentient being that exists. So that's why you need to know all of these areas. That's why it says the Bodhisattva operates focusing on the 5 topics of knowledge. So the Bodhisattva needs to know all of these things in order to truly be helpful, because you never know if a Bodhisattva needs to help someone build a house, or needs to teach someone how to read, or needs to teach someone, any among those different things of medicines and so forth. So that's the point that's being made there. It's just saying wisdom is what thoroughly discerns the ontological status of the object under analysis. But this context, wisdom refers to the proficiency in the 5 topics of knowledge. So it's just saying that wisdom's talking about knowing all of this, and these are the divisions of knowledge that you can learn. So I don't know what you mean. There's nothing about application. There's nothing about how well you know it. It's just saying these are the things you know. And then when you get into how you learn things, then you know that there are 3 kinds of wisdom. Wisdom you first get from hearing, and then you start to analyze the thing, and then you directly understand it. So
Right. Maybe it's the directly understanding part. Wisdom was also described as a mother, and it's like when you look at it from that perspective, that metaphor, it just seems so different than the way it was described earlier in the text. It was just surprising.
So can you speak Arabic? You probably...
No.
Okay. So you're ignorant of Arabic right now. So if you were to be taught Arabic, you would be birthed into knowing Arabic. So that's what wisdom births you out of ignorance. You're in this ignorant place, and wisdom births you into the knowledge of it. That's what it means by basically that. Like you go from a state of unknown to knowing. Knowing is the birth. So unknown to knowing. So, and that could apply to any topic that you're talking about. When you go from unknowing to knowing, you're birthed into knowledge. So that's what the birth is meaning.
That makes sense. It's just that also if I see an Arabic person in the street that is robbed, I can know and understand what that person is going through in that moment, and I can still communicate with them and help them.
But if you knew Arabic, you could help them better.
Maybe.
100%. There's no way you can tell me if you didn't know their language, you could help them better somehow. No way. If you couldn't communicate with them, I could help them better.
But I could
Come
help
on.
them in a way that would make a difference.
You could, but it would be better if you knew how to talk to them. So that's why you would need this to be a good bodhisattva.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. The ripanga. The garishene de ripanga. The ripingenga. Then the dondagare, the garishene, the ngatsu de gugudu. Then nge de saydu chikshena de me kamba yomari. Shanchu semba kamba jagu. Chikshena kon injike hakogomari. Shanchu semba injike trigu. The mambo. The garishene de gu. The name moa yirube. Garishene de ripanga ke chempudu.
Ripingenga tala keba marina.
Yeah.
Pachu ke jang tanji shaba kaza. Ripingenga tala keba marina. Papa tuya sanji go tutu mares.
So without knowing these 5 objects of knowledge, you cannot become a Buddha, Rinpoche said. So it's necessary to have these in order to become a Buddha, to fulfill others' needs completely, as well as your own. So it's the 5 knowledges become of the utmost importance in fulfilling others' needs, helping others with their needs. Become part of the bodhisattva's process of helping others with their needs. Tu chena. Cheran la chipa. Okay, concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. My luck, you were going to be like, yeah, I speak Arabic. It would have just ruined my whole story. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun, and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Lobsang Drakpa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well. With whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. All-powerful Avalokiteshvara Tenzin Gyatso, may you stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Wandak, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, the spiritual friend who trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Tuji Rinpoche Guti Shapi Denrana, Tu Lamrim Chenmo Kanga Chirana. I think it's